I have me some fast friends, BFFs, lifetime buddies, but I also make friends fast, which is good because I lose friends too. Sometimes I wish they wouldn't leave, but often the feeling is mutual. Time to disconnect. I'm lucky that I'm able to afford to be a little fussy and picky about who I friend. If there's one thing the world has got lots of, it's people, lots to choose from. Besides, I don't feel scarcity because I love time alone. In making friends, I have standards that matter to me, not that anyone owes me their friendship or even their trust. Small talk makes me bored. I get restless, huddling within the dead zone center of our comfort zones. I prefer teasing on the edges, see how far out we can go without crossing over into discomfort for either of us. It's not anything goes, and if I make them uncomfortable, it's their fault. Not at all. But I like taking conversational risks on the edge, seeing how honest and curious we can be with each other. Life is short. I err on the side of honesty, knowing that honesty is not truth. At best, it's truth about what we honestly think and feel. Some folks like it, other folks hate it, which again is okay. No one is obligated to meet my standards or vice versa. I try to make friends fast by going as deep as we can, as early as we can. My best buds are bilingual. They know how to switch gracefully between their best foot forward self-promotional talk and their introspectively curious talk. My preference is the latter. From affinity to beyond. I've been wondering lately how I decide who to friend and unfriend. I've got plenty of good friends I disagree with about fundamental matters, so long as we can tease each other. To be able to laugh at and with each other is the height of intimacy for me. Way more intimate than sex. The way to this man's heart is teasing me with a wink that shows it's two-way. I don't break up friendships over disagreements, even fundamental ones. Still, I have my deal breakers, my standards that once violated, I'm done, even if I'm in for some grieving over the loss of the friend. Here they are, and I invite you to consider whether they might be helpful for you in deciding who to trust enough to be your friend. In any relationship, there will be differences of opinion. When we clash over them, we can go meta, meaning we can pop up out of the particulars of the disagreement to talk about the disagreement. For example, a process conversation. It's the kind of thing we do when we say, wait, why are we arguing? The thing about going meta is that it's endless. For example, we could process our processing of our processing, or argue about our argument about our argument. On and on, up and up the levels. And the question for me is, where do you get off? I mean that both ways. Where do you settle? But also, where do you enjoy getting off? In general, people like getting off where they win by getting the last word. For example, we disagree, but I'm right and you are not. And that's all fine with me. Still, I want the serenity to disengage from the absolutely unreceptive and the courage to engage with the somewhat receptive people who disagree with me. There are meta moves in any debate. People talk about gaslighting and frame dominance like they're always bad things. I assume they're everyday things that happen in the give and take of any disagreement. We jockey back and forth, trying to impose our frame of reference on the conversation, trying to get the other person to see things from our perspective instead of theirs. I don't unfriend over that, but I do unfriend over what you could call absolute or infinite meta. Let me give you some examples. You're just trying to win. You're always defensive. The problem is you and only you. You talk too much. You think too much. It's not all about you. You're a liar. You're a total hypocrite. You're closed-minded. You're just projecting. These aren't just momentary frame dominance in the give and take of useful conflict. These are infinite character assassinations. I'm good, you're bad, times infinity moves. I'm fine with people using them on me, and they could be right. After all, if I am absolutely closed-minded, I'd be the last to know, right? But once they've reached that conclusion, there's nothing left for me to say. I unfriend at that point. I keep my own counsel on whose counsel I keep. I've long operated on the assumption that if you don't want to be an asshole, you have to expect some anxiety. I'm comfortable with my degree of doubt tolerance. So when someone decides that their job is to introduce a novice to the novel idea of humility, we're done. Exiting relationships is a challenge. Sometimes we can't. For example, if our livelihoods depend on remaining stuck with them in our lives. Ugh. But even if we can afford to walk, it takes some time to get over caring. I find the most effective way to grieve the loss of rapport is to cauterize, burn the connection, ghost. Don't interact with them anymore. Little by little, their influence fades. That's why I'm fine with people using these moves on me. They're proof that there's nothing more I can say that they'll be able to hear. The temptation to keep talking perpetuates caring what they think. To me, any of these moves are the Dear John letter, if you know that reference, the pink slip. I'm fired from credibility by their standards, and therefore the feeling is mutual. Nothing more to be said. We're on the same page about being not on the same page. I've had friends and partners who come to the conclusions listed above, which begs the question, if they've decided I'm absolutely incorrigible, literally uncorrectable, why would they even want to talk to me? My guess is they aim to reprogram me to be who they think I should be. It's fine if they want to, but I'm not letting them reach in and override my carefully cultivated intuitions because they think they could do a better job than I'm doing. Folks often say, you can't change other people. You can only change yourself. I'll buy that, but only accompanied by its paired opposite. You can't help but change people. Let me persuade you that people are unpersuadable is a paradox, right? And if you can change other people, what are we doing raising children? We can't program people like computers, but of course we can influence them. I've had a few spiritual friends try to persuade me that all criticism is projection. It was a popular spiritual teaching a few years back, and handy too. If you find someone irritating, it's really about your discomfort with your own nature. To me, that's like a spiritualized version of I know you are, but what am I times infinity. They chide me for challenging them as if it proves that the problem is me. They don't notice that it applies to their criticism of me for criticizing them. Whenever the debate grounds out at I'm good and you're bad times infinity, I'm out. No need to say anything more because it's been pre-muted. They're basically saying, la la la, I can't hear you anymore. There's just no talking to them anymore. It's the death of what I thrive on in conversation and debate. Truth emergent from disagreements among friends. Trump trolls and absolutists of any stripe start there. If you challenge their authority, they go infinite meta instantly. For example, diagnosing you as having Trump derangement syndrome, like you're mentally ill and infinitely wrong for disagreeing with them. Lots of people have decided there's just no talking to Trumpies, and I agree. Still, I can't just live and let live about it. Live and let live is easy if you don't have to live with their decisions, but we do. There's no talking to them, but there is engaging with them. About 6 months ago, I started a free study group that meets every other Sunday in the morning to strategize ways to engage with the absolutely incurious people who've gone infinite meta, like the megalomaniacs have. Email me if you'd like to join it. I won't share your email with anyone. We don't take roll call. It's just a free option. Spectators welcome. I see the Trumpies as cowering within a suit of spiked armor, afraid to be curious about anything, addicted to infinite meta herobotics, robotically playing, you're the villain, I'm the hero times infinity. In the study group, the theme is repertoire, not recipe. There is no surefire recipe for dealing with hero bots. Anything you try, they'll do their best to make sure fails. People bring examples of what they've tried with their Trumpy friends and relatives, and the study group critiques it for effectiveness. Sometimes we go gentle, fingering our way through chinks in their armor to coax out the scaredy brat, rabid, bunny rabbit human inside. And sometimes we go rough, rattling and kicking the shit out of their suit of armor. When I go rough, I have no moral qualms about using these infinite meta moves on them. I'm not trying to program them to think like me. I'm trying to deprogram them. Sometimes it's the best I can do. Just sucker punch them with an infinite meta move before they scamper off to troll easier victims. I don't mind planting a stink bomb seed in their spiky suit of armor. If they weren't such prissy wimps, I wouldn't have to. I consider it my civic duty to provoke the absolutely incurious. Civilization can't survive without curiosity and the good old give and take. I'll end with the poem I wrote about dealing with the absolutely incurious, the people who go infinite meta. I try to be a nice guy, but if you show up done, ready for a fight you're already sure you've won, I'm gonna do my best to have you leave here disappointed with your scheme to dip in quick, pre and post anointed as the one who only tutors, teaching others what to think, 'cause it's attitudes like that that put the whole world on the brink.